Nissa, Vastwood Seer versus Nikya of the Old Ways. That is a slow hand. Is our opponent going to get off to a faster start than us? We'll just keep it and see what happens. We've had enough games with this deck where it goes off in no time flat, so let's get down our land and pass over. Nissa, Vastwood Seer is a 3-mana 2/2 Elf Scout. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic forest, put it into your hand and shuffle. When a land enters under your control, if you have 7 or more lands, then you flip her over. Oh, that's good. Nature's Law allows us to do something on turn 2. We will search for a forest and put it into play untapped, so we'll get the Dryad Arbor down. Not only is it a blocker, but it allows us to get Summoning Sickness off of it as soon as possible. Nikya of the Old Ways is a Gruul commander, 5/5. You can't cast non-creature spells, and whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana of any type that land would produce. And is that a bounce land? Yes, it is. Now then, how can we go about this? If we go for Emerald Medallion, then we can go for Wood Elves for 2, and then Lignify off the land that Wood Elves gives us. And I do want to Lignify that Fauna Shaman because our opponent can get a lot of value out of that. And I imagine they can get a lot of value for the rest of the game because Nikya isn't likely to have anything but creatures in hand. So they're just going to have to hope that they get into a Reclamation Sage now. Now, we don't have quite enough mana for Zendikar Resurgent, I don't think. That is going to be 6 mana. 4, 5, 6. Oh no, we do next turn. So let's go for Zendikar Resurgent and then get down our commander after that. Okay, we're just getting into lands, which isn't necessarily all that bad. If we can get some card draw going, then it means that we can cast anything that we draw into. As it stands now, we're going to have 12, 14 mana next turn. And down comes our opponent's commander. So they are ramping up themselves, but unfortunately for them, we have more lands than they do. So let's get down our commander, and we are going to flip her over this turn. Oh, Bane of Progress actually doesn't do anything now that I am looking at the board. We'll get the 3rd land into our hand and then play that, and that will flip Nissa because we have 7 lands in play. Now we can chump with Wood Elves, so I want to go for the card draw here, I think. And we get into another land. Wow, it's just a stack of lands on top of our library. It's not the worst case scenario if our opponent manages to kill Nissa anyway, because we can easily replay her. And in fact, it might actually be good to replay her because we'll get a card draw from the Zendikar Resurgent. Plus it's more lands out of our deck. And apparently we need to thin our deck out of lands because we keep getting into them. Our opponent has a full grip of 7. And that Nykthos might be an issue for us a little bit further down the line. Might be a threat to us right now, actually. Ooh, Xenagos. Yes, we don't want to see a Xenagos. This thing can pile damage on really quickly. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another creature gets +X/+X, where X is its power until the end of the turn. Now, luckily that doesn't give it trample. It does give it haste, but not trample. Xenagos could give itself haste here, which I think is what they may do. Nope, they're just going to buff Nikya with it. Yeah, I'm surprised at that. They could have... Is Xenagos another creature? Oh, it's another target creature, so they couldn't have done that, so that is fair enough. We'll just chump there and see what we draw into. Oh, Primeval Titan is good. We'll plus with Nissa. And we get into a duplicant, that's really good. So let's go for a land. Tap 3 lands for the duplicant. This will get rid of Xenagos. and draw us a card. Get into another land, par for the course. And we'll definitely exile that while it is animated. And then it's 6 mana into Primeval Titan. And hopefully draw into something other than a land. Woodland Bellower is good. Don't know what we want to grab with Woodland Bellower though. We usually want to go for Reclamation Sage with that. But I don't think Rec Sage is going to do anything in this game. We'll grab ourselves a Gaia's Cradle. And a Nykthos should be okay, I think. And then we might as well go for the Woodland Bellower. It's just more creatures on the board. And it's a card draw as well. On Genesis Wave is excellent. If we make it through to next turn without our opponent scooping, then Genesis Wave is going to be really, really good. I think actually I want to go for the Yavimaya Elder, because we have 2 mana floating and we can sacrifice that, and that will draw us a card as well as get us into a couple of basics. But apparently the only thing we're going to draw this game is basic forests. I mean, it's guaranteeing us a land drop every turn. And each of these does tap for 2 mana thanks to Zendikar Resurgent, but it would be nice to draw into something other than forests the entire game. I mean, we've drawn into 3 creatures last turn, so I can't really complain too much. 5 cards left in our opponent's hand. And they should have the mana to do anything they want to. Oblivion Sower. Now, watch my opponent not get any lands off of this. When you cast this spell, target opponent exiles the top 4 cards. You can put any number of lands from exile into play under your control. So let's see how many lands they get off of this. Well, they actually do get some lands there. They've gotten rid of our Worldly Tutor and Tireless Tracker, which are not terrible cards to get rid of. And Maze of Ith is actually really good as well. Plus they end up with a 5/8 for 6 mana. Oh, now then, they've gone for Eldrazi Temple, which is telling that. That means that they're going after Eldrazi in general. Sometimes decks will run an Oblivion Sower or the odd Eldrazi, but this looks like it might be the typical thing that people go for in ramp decks is Eldrazi. And they can get down that Vorinclex, I think, here. Look at the top X cards you can put on non-land with converted mana cost X or less from among them. Yep, they're going after Vorinclex. So we were looking pretty good for a while there, but our opponent's managing to get some stuff of their own going. Let's see if we can draw into anything here. Prowling Serpapard, I'm not too bothered about, to be honest. We draw into Gauntlet of Power, which will, I think this is just basics, yes. So this will allow our opponent's forests to tap for an additional green mana, but we have way more basic forests than they do. I think just tapping out for a Genesis Wave is the way to go here. Our opponent's Vorinclex will put all of our lands to sleep if we do that, but we'll end up with a bunch of permanents anyway. So we get 5 mana off the Gauntlet of Power. We obviously name green with that, and then it's a hell of a lot of mana. And I'm going to leave the Nykthos up, just in case we get lots of green pip. In fact, I guarantee we'll get a lot of green pips into play. So we'll be able to tap down Nykthos for even more mana. Let's go for the Genesis Wave now. This is going to be 24, is it? No, it's 25 into X. Oh yeah, because it costs 1 less thanks to the Emerald Medallion. Let's go for this and see what we get. A Khan would get rid of that Vorinclex, which would be good. Right, the first things we get into play are the lands. We get a Wasteland to get rid of that Maze of Ith, which is good. We get the lands on the stack first, which means they come in last. That will trigger any landfall triggers that we get going. And then Song of the Dryads can go after the Vorinclex. Eternal Witness can grab us something as well. I don't think it actually matters what order all this stuff comes down in, apart from the Primeval Bounty and the Elemental Bond. So let's just get all of this stuff going. There we go. So I think all of this stuff enters at the same time anyway, but we'll have Elemental Bond and Primeval Bounty come into play first, if they do come in any kind of order. Very patient of our opponent to sit through all this. And what are we naming something for there? Oh, that's for the Cavern of Souls. We'll just name Elf for that. Doesn't matter in this game, I don't think. That can enchant the Vorinclex. We don't want our opponent having that lying around. We gain a bunch of life from Primeval Bounty. Lands entering gives us 3 life per land that enters. Elemental Bond draws us a card whenever a creature with 3 power or more enters, so that's 3 triggers there. Woodfall Primus will kill the Eldrazi Temple, not the Maze of Ith. And Manglehorn can only target something of ours. We'll target that. It is a May ability, I think. Yes, it is a May ability. Growing Rights of Itlamok is more card draw for us, and Eternal Witness. I mean, I think we just get back the... Yeah, we'll just grab the Genesis Wave again. Have a look at the top cards of our library. With Growing Rights of Itlamok, we get into Surak and our own Vorinclex, which I think we can get down this turn. And then artifacts our opponent's control come into play tapped. Don't think that's going to be relevant this game. We'll draw 3 cards from the Elemental Bond. That is Green Warden of Marassa. Guess what? Another land. Oh, Avenger of Zendikar is just even more triggers. We gain 3, 6, 9, 18 life there from Primeval Bounty. Now then, I think a Wasteland onto the Nykthos is good. Let's swing in with the Prime Time. See if our opponent wants to maze it. I imagine they'll just gang up on it here, or just chump it. Actually, they can just block it with the Genesis. I just want to get us into a Tectonic Edge here, which we don't have in the deck apparently. I thought we did. Okay, well we'll just go for Reliquary Tower and Mosswort Bridge. Will let us cheat something out. And we gain 6 life from the lands entering there. Hide away from the Mosswort Bridge. We have more than enough power to cheat something out here. So let's put Terastodon under that. Oh, and they are going for Maze of Ith, so they're deciding not to kill the Primeval Titan, which is interesting. Now then, let's go for a lot of green mana with the Nykthos. How much mana do we get from that? We get 20 green mana there. So let's go for Vorinclex. We draw a card and get a beast token for casting a creature. And then we draw another card when Vorinclex enters. This has turned into a real game of solitaire magic. This is the stuff that Mono Green is really good at. We've only got 31 cards left in the deck. Let's put a lot of plus counters on Prime Time because it has Trample. And then we'll leave some stuff in the hand just in case our opponent deals with all of this. Yeah. We'll get down the Serpapard just as another body and a few more triggers here. And I don't think we've actually activated Ugin yet either, have we? So let's blow up the Findhorn Elves. Less mana for our opponent. Yeah, I think we have to waste some mana and leave it there. Well, we could go for the Green Warden of Marassa. Yeah, let's go for Green Warden of Marassa and grab that Wasteland back. I really want to try and put the nail in my opponent's coffin. Draw into even more stuff, of course. Let's get down the Sol Ring. That will put more plus counters onto the Primeval Titan. Just putting it on there because it has trample. I'll put some on Vorinclex as well, actually, because that has trample as well. And that Lifecrafter's Bestiary gets us into a scry next turn. And whenever we cast a creature spell, we can pay green and draw a card. We have activated Nissa. Let's just leave it there. And big props to our opponent for sitting through all that. Our Growing Rites of Itlamok transforms into a Gaia's Cradle, so we've got 2 Gaia's Cradles now. And it might be that they've actually got something for us that is going to deal a bunch of damage to us. Maybe they have a board wipe or something. Yeah, they did the right thing there. They were just drawing into their next card to see if it would have helped them. They might have had board wipes in the deck, like a Blasphemous Act or a Chain Reaction might have helped them. But that is just the way that our mono green deck goes sometimes. It can become a real solitaire game. And yeah, big props to our opponent for sitting through that. They did absolutely the right thing and sat through it and drew their last card. And you never know, they might have drawn into something that could have saved them there, but it wasn't to be this game. That was Nissa, Vastwood Seer, versus Nikya. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.